So this video is a response to the question about predetermination. Someone has asked, if there is no personal decider, no personal free will, does that mean that it's the opposite? Does that mean that everything is predetermined? And logically, that would seem sound, because if it's not this, then it must be the opposite to that. But these two opposites are two sides of the same coin, really. They both are a phenomena within time. And the totality, life itself, is timeless. Time is really just a mirage, an illusion. So no, there is no predetermination. Predetermination would mean that there is a past. It would mean there is time. Predetermination would mean that something has been maybe decided beforehand, or something has decided beforehand, or this so-called moment now, which is also time, is a result of certain past causes. So one event happened, and then that led to another event, and then another event, and then finally this event, and then so-called future events. So predetermination is time, it requires time. But what's really being suggested is that there is no time, that life, the totality, is just timeless. That this is emptiness flowing, that all of this is just an empty flow of activity. So the body, the sky, the sun, a phone, a camera, a laptop, a picture, a sofa, all of it is just the play of emptiness, a singular play of empty activity. And ultimately that is a mystery. It cannot be known. It cannot be believed. You cannot get to it through a belief. So even though there is no personal decider, that does not also mean there is then predetermination. Because whatever is taking place is eternal, is timeless. You might say it's all unfolding now, but actually, really there is no now, there is no present. Because that's like, that word, it sounds like a very narrow sort of slice of time, where there's also a past and also a future. Really, it is all timeless. So there is no past, there is no future, there is no present, so there cannot be any predetermination. There's not something that has determined something. This is the view that sometimes many people have. They might perceive there to be some kind of outside superior power, like a god, or some kind of source, or something that is perceived in a kind of dualistic or separate way, in which something has been decided beforehand. There's a plan, God's plan, the source's plan. But that's all in a sense of separation. That's just within the hallucination, the story, the narrative of an artificial sense of self. A sense of self that feels separate, feels as though it's lacking something, and therefore feels that it needs to be in control to get what it wants and to protect itself. And that's the story it lives through, and it lives in a sense of time, past, present and future. So naturally that's why it would lean towards this idea of, well, if there's no free will, if there's no personal decider, then that must mean that everything then is predetermined. Predetermined maybe by some other force, by whether it's nature or whether it's God or some external force. But it's much more mysterious than that. There's a spontaneity to it, a spontaneous kind of unfolding of this kind of infinite isness. This empty flow of activity. It's all just an empty flow of activity. It's spontaneous. It's eternal. is timeless. There's nothing outside of it. Time, when you look at this idea of time which is an illusion, you have to go to the mind, you have to think. You have to visit memory, which is a thought. You have to project into the future, imagination. You have to have a concept about now, trying to live now, trying to be here now, trying to be present. These are all constructs of the mind, and there is a sense of that, there is a sense of time. Feeling like you never have enough time, like you're running out of time. And of course, this is what people say in their language. These are the phrases that are used, isn't it? Common phrases. I ain't got enough time, I'm running out of time. And that is the sense that the artificial self has. It feels as though it is running out of time because it feels separate. So of course, it has a beginning and an end to it. That's time. So of course it's going to feel like it's running out of time. Of course it feels like life is operating in a sense of linear time. And so it's trying to be present, or it's basing its identity on the past, or it's trying to project and get something more in the future. And that's the story it lives in. And that's the anxiety that's created, or the guilt. And so in this idea of sort of predetermination, that could feel very powerless to it, like hopeless to it. Or if it thinks it is the decider and it's choosing everything, then there's lots of pressure that it puts on itself. So that's the sense that it has. So it will often kind of oscillate between this idea of, yes, I have choice. Maybe when things seem to be going well, circumstances are going the way that it wants it to go, it says, yes, I made that happen. I'm the decider, I'm the chooser. Becomes very prideful about that. But then when things don't go the way that it wants it to go, then it might say, see, everything is predetermined. It's all in God's plan. It's all in God's hands. Something else to blame. But ultimately it's neither of those two. Both of those are an illusion within the story of that artificial self. An artificial self that ultimately does not exist. The sense of self can exist, seem to exist, is an experience. But an actual self, an actual center, actual separation, actual time is a complete illusion. It's not real, but it feels real for it. In that experience of it, it feels real. And so time feels real. Separation feels real. Control feels real. Deciding feels real. Someone that seems to be taking an action feels real. But as it's seen that there is no self, it's very obvious that everything is just an empty flow of activity happening by itself. It is the totality. Not that there is some kind of force, some separate force that is kind of deciding that or kind of, pushing something else along. They are the same. The so-called activity, the isness of all apparent things, whatever seems to be taking place, is actually the infinite, is actually emptiness, is actually hollow. What appears to be solid is really hollow. What appears to be physical is non-physical. What appears to be real for that separate sense of self is really unreal. It's an illusion, complete illusion. When the self, the sense of self is no more, then what seems to be taking place, this empty flow of activity, is both in a way real and unreal. Real in the sense that it's the play, it's kind of made of, if we can use that term, it's made of emptiness. It's made of that which is, you could say, maybe real. Nothing is real. Everything is an empty reality. So no predetermination, no personal decider.